Oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened.
What's up, everybody? This is going to be a fun episode. I can't wait to get into this. It is draft season 2021, and we're talking Reese's Senior Bowl practice. Mike, are you ready to jump into this?
Let's go.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody that is joining live around the world. We do appreciate every one of you guys as we get into our next episode of this Frisco Report covering the Senior Bowl. If you missed last week's, go back and check that one. We covered a lot of really awesome prospects. This week we're covering a few more, and we have some notes from the Senior Bowl practice from today as well. NFL Network is a little bit shysty this past 2 seasons, but not to worry. I did get, I was able to do some research on some of these practices and got some good notes from these. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the news of the day. Dak watch. As usual, nothing there to report. Nothing going on there at all whatsoever. Obviously, again, we're waiting for the number probably to drop for the salary cap before we get any movement on that, Mike. But, the topic of the day, the Senior Bowl, how do we help the Cowboys? Troy Aikman mentioned this, when he covered the Cowboys. Last game that he covered was, where do you even start? Right, Mike? And a lot of us as fans are talking about defense. And, I think that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, the Cowboys, they will sprinkle in some offensive weapons, I think. I think there's going to be some surprises in this draft as far as what the Cowboys do. But, Mike, what is your take on this Senior Bowl? Where do you want to focus on? What should the Cowboys be focusing on here?
Man, DeMarcus Lawrence a couple days ago, I'm going to start with this, put on Twitter, it's time to be in the game and not sit on the couch watching it. And I replied back to him. If you follow me, you've seen it. It was, are you kidding me? When are you going to get 10 sacks again? I appreciate your run-stopping abilities, D-Law. I appreciate it. But this team needs inside defensive linemen. They need corners, free safeties, linebackers. Jerry cares about money, not Lombardi's. All right? Check out my Twitter feed. Joe has it right there. Go check out that reply to DeMarcus Lawrence. And that's what I mean. The issues on this defense is amazing to me. And they tanked, dare I say, and picking up free agents for years. Brendan Carr, give or take, that's the last one they bet on. So now we're in this situation where defense is what you have to look at. Defense is what you have to invest in and allocate those draft picks in, Joe.
Yeah, defense all the way. And this Senior Bowl has a lot of it. I mean, this Senior Bowl roster is so packed. We won't be able to get through all of the names. There will be some names here that we don't get to, but, we'll follow up with this, after the Senior Bowl. Obviously, next week we'll do a wrap-up show on it. But, man, Mike, we have a lot of prospects that we've been watching here. We were able to sneak in some views of the practice, and I know they're doing a recap show as well. But, they don't give up much info on that. But, there are other scouts out there on Twitter that were there on site. So we got a lot of notes here that I took from, Dane Brugler, Matt Miller, and a couple other, well-respected draftniks in the community. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it, Mike. Who was your first prospect that should be on the Cowboys' watch?
Yeah, it's going to be a safety. I'm going to cover him here later on. He's from Florida State. Hasan, and I'm not going to pronounce that last name. He's from Florida State, but he's been standing out real nice. 6'3", 213 pounds. He looks the par, and I wouldn't mind him coming in here to play to play some safety for us. 6'3", like I said. I see him being a strong safety more than a free safety. He's a little slow, Joe, on the top side when it comes to being a free safety over the top corner, but strong safety all day long. He had a standout Senior Bowl practice day one. A lot of rave I was hearing from this guy right here. He had some injuries though that could mess up his draft stock. He had a lower leg injury this past year in November. Could mess up his draft stock though. But I like this guy. You know, he could be slow reaction. He can get stiff sometimes when you turn on the tape on this guy. But what do I have him graded at? Do I have him going? I can see him anywhere between a day 2 to day 3. If it winds up in day 3, it's going to be a hell of a steal for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, pretty good. He does have, when he's on the field, he's got good tape. I agree with your assessment, Mike, all the way. Yeah, the medicals, I think, is going to be the thing that you have to get past. You know, is he going to be one of these injury-prone kind of guys? If he makes a big hit, does he get up? You know, these sorts of things. But definitely has playmaking ability. You know, obviously, we're getting Dan Quinn in here as defensive coordinator. And, you know, it looks like the front office plus Dan Quinn, I think, you know, the threshold is still 6 foot and up. This guy hits that mark. What is he, 6'3", 6'4", somewhere in that range,
6'3",
right, Mike?
yep.
Yeah,
yep.
So, you know, check that box off right there. Let's see how he translates from the practice to the game. That's going to be the biggest thing here. But, yeah, great one there, Mike. Who's your next prospect?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start off right here. I'm going to start off with my pet cat, Joe. My pet cat, it's Marvin Wilson, Florida State, 6'3", 318 pounds, Joe. This guy right here is house money. Okay, you talk about baconators. The 318-pound baconator is what I love the most. And when you turn on the film, Joe, you turn on this film, I see a faster Neville Gallimore. I see some Neville Gallimore instincts in this guy. We all know what Gallimore has done so far this past rookie year. You add Marvin Wilson into that. That defensive line can get nasty and can get disruptive. It can stop some run games. He's quick off the line. He's super physical. He had hand surgery in 2019 and a lower leg injury in 2020 this past time. He did a lot of rehabbing to get back to where he's at now. It might mess up his draft stock. Hand injury 1 year, lower leg injury the next, some nagging injuries in between. He could be an impact player from day one. Second round, it's a solid second-round pick for me. If the Cowboys are in reach, they got to go for my new pet cat, Marvin Wilson. Watch the tape on these guys. Watch the tape on Neville Gallimore. Watch the tape on Marvin Wilson. You're going to see some similarities, and it's going to be great news for this defensive line, Joe.
Yeah, indeed, man. I love that assessment. Shout out to Dallas Cowboys fan 1980 in the chat box. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, Mike. I mean, you killed it there with the Marvin Wilson as a pet cat. You know, it's amazing because, you know, he did have the injury, and you know, you want to see how he would look. And man, the footage that I saw of Marvin Wilson on the Senior Bowl day one, what the heck? This guy came, dude. This guy came and showed up, fierce, violent hands, getting in your face, trucking these guards today. I mean, he looked almost unblockable on day one. Now I want to see him to stack that, because some of his critique has been, you know, runs a little bit hot and cold. So I want to see him stack, you know, the next couple of days of practice and into the game. But man, you got to like what you see. And his measurables, you know, coming out of the Senior Bowl were 6'3", 3'9", 82 wingspan, 33 arms, and a 10.2 hands. So a large man, a physical presence. And what does this team needed, Mike, is physicalness, you know, run stuffers. Yes, dogs. You know, we need dogs and goons on this team, and he fits the bill. I love, you know, when we talk about these defensive tackle factories, Florida State, Ohio State, Alabama. Those are my 3 favorite defensive tackle factories. Marvin Wilson, I think, will be another one in that same vein. So I love that one, Mike. That's a great one. Let's see how he looks the rest of the way. But awesome. Guys, go check him out. Marvin Wilson.
Yeah, check him out. You're going to fall in love. The film don't lie, guys. Film don't lie. My next one, Joe, defensive end, Carlos Basham, all right? Wake Forest product right here, 6'3", 281. We talk about wingspan. This guy has a 81-inch wingspan. 11 sacks, 18 tackles for loss in 2019. Kind of fell off, the map a little bit with just 5 sacks in 2020. He can back up DeMarcus Lawrence right here on the left end, guys. I see him playing that left end very well. And I see him being a solid third-round pick, late second-round pick. The Cowboys, once they draft, they could probably use one of their third-round picks to trade to maybe steal this guy, like what they kind of did with, DeMarcus Lawrence, trading up with the Redskins, right? The same could happen with this Wake Forest pick right here in this defensive end. I think with the right D-line coach, okay, hear me out, guys. With the right D-line coach, this guy can be a monster. He's had some inconsistencies. Don't let the frame fool you. The frame is there. The potential's there. But we need the right defensive line coach. Is he on the Cowboys? To be determined. I don't even know who this guy is, what's his resume like coaching our defensive line now. But third-round pick, maybe second late-round pick, Carlos Basham Jr., that Joe right here has on your screen, you're going to love him. Watch the tape. I love the wingspan. Look at them arms, man. Look how DeMarcus Ware-type arms right here. The guy could be a freak of nature, Joe.
Yeah, what I like about Carlos Basham, and great assessment there, Mike, knocked it out the park. Carlos Basham, what I like with him and how the Cowboys might utilize him is that I think this is a guy that you can flex inside, and I think this is something that we're going to continue to see no matter who the coordinator is. The Cowboys, they just like these types of players. And, I think that comes down from Will McClay. So that'll be something close to watch. How does Will McClay work in concert with Dan Quinn and what they want out of these defensive line players? But from Carlos Basham, what I like is somebody that you could, put him on the outside, bring him on the inside. I think this is a guy that could come in here and replace Tyron Crawford, who we're kind of hoping is not coming back next season. I think he's done. So Carlos Basham, guys, let's see what he does here in the Senior Bowl. But great player there to keep an eye on, Mike. Great pick there, man.
Thank you, brother. My next one, remember, guys, defense. I'm going to surprise you with the offensive player here at the last of it. But right here, I'm sticking with defense. Linebacker, Monty Rice out of Georgia. I love me some Georgia players, Joe. I talked about Campbell last week. I'm bringing another Georgia Bulldog right here in Monty Rice, 6'1", 235 pounds. I get it, the 6'1" frame. He might be a little small playing. He looks like an Eddie Lacy, a thinner Eddie Lacy running back when he's playing linebacker. Just because he's so short at the linebacker position. The Bulldogs have him as a middle linebacker. I don't know if this guy can adjust to a Sam or a week. I don't see this guy being a middle linebacker in the NFL. What I do see, though, is this gentleman here being a special team ace, a bone fossil special team ace, Joe. That's what I do see, and maybe back up and learn and be versatile in the Sam and the weak linebacker positions. What I liked about him, I didn't like a lot about this guy. He don't trust his instincts, right? Our linebackers have that problem already. He could be slow, dissecting plays, reading the plays as they're developing. You turn on the tape, you turn on the highlights. This guy's going to look like a beast. But when you break plays down piece by piece, this guy kind of reacts like Jalen and Leighton Vander Esch was reacting in the NFL. That 6'1" frame scares me. They got him as a middle linebacker. That's not middle linebacker frame right there, Joe. I'm going to say this guy needs to beef up, do something, maybe, just maybe, learn those Sams, learn that week. But I think special teams is where this guy's going to flourish. I have him going anywhere between the second to fourth round projection, Joe.
Yeah, Monty Rice, that Georgia Bulldog defense puts out a lot. They've been putting up pretty solid defenders. So I love when they got him. Tyson Campbell, we covered him last week. But Monty Rice, Senior Bowl, we'll see what he does. And I like that there's so many defensive players. Like I said, we won't be able to cover all of them, but we're gonna hit up the ones that we think would fit in here with the Cowboys in some capacity. But guys, if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, let us know what you guys think about Monty Rice, great prospect there, Mike.
My last one, Joe. My last one, and I'll kick it over to you. I'm going to talk about Sage Surratt, Wake Forest.
Yeah, now we're talking.
The gentleman, he opted out. 6'2", 215. I see a lot of slot potential there. Obviously, we got CeeDee Lamb at that position. Michael Gallup could get traded away. This guy could replace a guy like Michael Gallup on the X. I don't see him playing a lot of the X though, Joe. He's a slot monster to me, in my take, and what I've seen.
Yeah.
I like how he tracks the ball in the air. I love that. You tagged me on a Twitter post with your guy throwing to his guy, right?
Yeah.
To this guy. And I liked it. This is what I seen on film, and he's doing it at the Senior Bowl. He can locate the ball like a CeeDee Lamb. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. He can locate the ball like CeeDee Lamb. I don't like the fact he opted out in 2020, but I get it. Family, health, all comes first. He only had one good year, Joe. One good year. 1,001 yard, and I think he had – how many touchdowns did he have? 11 touchdowns. He had one good year. He opted out. I think the reason why I think he shouldn't have opted out because you want to build that success or try to keep that success some way, form, or fashion. That could hurt him. But if he's making plays like he's making in the Senior Bowl, Joe, it could save him, and that opt-out could look like a smart move when it comes to health and keeping family safe. Maybe a second to a third-round pick is where I see Surratt. Now, if he keeps having these Senior Bowl practices and stands out like that, where people are – the scouts and whatever is like, oh, my God, it's a good catch. You know, media is going to be these players' best friends because they're going to blow and hype players up. Surratt needs to get hyped up, and those catches that he's making, it's going to be good for him.
Yeah. He had a hell of a connection with Ian Book, and we'll cover him in a minute. But yeah, Sage Surratt, this is a guy that had some fanfare, like you said. He was an opt out, but I think he picked up where he left off there. Wake Forest, his brother is a converted quarterback to linebacker. He's another guy that some people that like him. I'm not as big as a fan. I like the wide receiver more than the linebacker myself. But great prospect there, Mike. Great job, brother.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Hey, while we're in here, before we transition to Joe's hot takes here, we got 17 likes, 47 viewers, guys. Let's get to 21 likes. Let's get to Marvin Wilson's number 21, Flavors for Your Face.
All right, guys. So the next one that we're going to take a look at is Aaron Robinson. All right. Let me see what we got here. Aaron Robinson. Yeah, so Aaron Robinson, physical in these practices, and I think he might get a little dinged. I mean, let me see, what did he come in at? He came in at 5'11", 190, 30-inch arms. So I don't know, man. I thought he was gonna measure more than that, but physical player, and this is somebody that I think depending on how he plays in this game, could be on the Cowboys' radar, Mike. Aaron Robinson out of UCF. Okay, we have another guy that I'm looking at, Richie Grant, safety. From the same school, but Aaron Robinson, excuse me, slot. Outside, we'll see where they put him at. Got to keep an eye on Aaron Robinson, everybody. Let me know what you guys think about Aaron Robinson. If you guys watch UCF, let me know in the comments what you think of Aaron Robinson. Physical. That's what I like about him.
Yeah. He can start at nickel. Okay. This guy's a nickel back all day long. He's going to have a good, productive Senior Bowl, I think. What did he measure in at? Because I got 6'1". What was his height? What did you get?
5'11" is what they rated him at the Senior Bowl. That's not too good.
No, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. That's not going to fit Dan Quinn's height, right? I don't know where I got 6'1" at, but I thought I seen 6'1" somewhere. But that's why these measurables and stuff are important because it helps you put your board together. Nickel corner, slot corner. We need some toughness. Let's see what this guy can bring.
Oh yeah, and that's and that's the thing. Without having the combine, you don't know. What are the true stats of this? We're gonna get varying combinations of height, length, and this kinds of thing. So keep that in mind, everybody. The next one that we want to look at is Richie Grant. Just talked about him. Let's see, guys. Richie Grant. Yeah, Richie Grant, man. This guy is getting a lot of fanfare. This is a name that you're starting to see move up draft boards. Richie Grant. We all hear about Merrick out of TCU and some of these other guys. Javon Holland and some of these other safeties. But Richie Grant, I think he's a perfect fit for a cover three. That the Cowboys are going to implore again under Dan Quinn. So Richie Grant can cover a lot of ground, sideline to sideline. I think he has good enough speed, and I think this is what the Cowboys really need to look at is we need speed on the field and people that can cover the field because in Dan Quinn's, scheme, there's more pressure on the safeties, in the cover three. So Richie Grant, I like his potential, right? And that's where we're at with a lot of these guys. A lot of this is a lot of projection. But he came in, at the Senior Bowl, his measurement was 5'11" and a half. So I mean, if you want to round that up to 6 foot, that does kind of check that off, and it'll be interesting to see what he looks at the pro day. At the pro day, I bet you he gets that extra half inch officially and comes in at 6 foot. He could come in at 6'1", So that is the bad thing about not having the scouting combine. So we'll have to see what they do. But this guy, like I said, part of that UCF defense, very good, very scrappy guys, man. I think these guys do a great job, putting these guys into NFL. We'll see what Tristan Hill does for us. Came from the same program, obviously. But that secondary was money for UCF. And Richie Grant, I think, would be a solid fit, with the Cowboys. So let's see how he looks. In the Senior Bowl, that's a guy that to keep an eye out in the combine, Mike. Richie Grant.
Yeah, I think that you talked about the sideline to sideline. They're expecting, pro days to run a 4.4, 4.5 flat in that 40. He had a fantastic 2020 season. I'm looking at the stats now: 72 tackles, in 9 games, 3.5 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 5 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles. The potential's there. But where's he going to measure, Joe? You can't have 5'11", strong safety or free safeties back there. These wide receivers are too damn tall.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So some of these programs like the Cowboys and some of these, they're very, measurable, centric. Our tight end needs to be 6'5" and above, needs to be 6'6" and above. Our DBs need to be 6 foot and above. Our tackles on the offensive line need to be 6'5", 6'6" above. The Cowboys are like that. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, with that being said, a lot of some of these favorites that some fans are liking, like the Darius Washingtons of the world, that the Cowboys are not going to sniff that. Or unfortunately, I think he's a pretty good safety myself, but the Cowboys, they may mark him off the list because of that. And we talk about Samuel out of Florida State, junior. He may not hit the mark as well. They might scratch him off, but a hell of a cornerback. So, we'll see. If the Cowboys make any kind of changes, if they're not so rigid in some of these requirements. But man, Richie Grant, I think would be a good pick to put next to, what we're expecting. Donovan Wilson. I think you got 2 scrappy players now back there, physical. They'll both hit you. They can cover. They can, snatch the ball out of the air, and that's what you want. You in this day and age, your safeties kind of both need to be frees. But at the same time, you want that ability to hit you and do run defense and go and hit in the box if you need to. And that's what I like about Donovan Wilson. And Richie Grant, I think, gives you that same, type of player.
Yeah, and Pro Football Network has Grant projected to go to the Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens, the Washington Football Team, Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles, or the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it's all about, baby. We're covering all angles here. Okay, I'm going offensive here on my next prospect, and that is going to be this guy. He's a little bit under the radar player. I got to this guy with one of my draft nicks that I follow, and that's going to be this wide receiver here, Dwayne Eskridge. All right, already out the gates. Here at the Senior Bowl, the practices, he's a shorter wide receiver, slot wide receiver, and the thing that you guys need to remember here, and I kind of talked about this whenever the Cowboys made the hire for Mike McCarthy, and we talk about this all the time, Mike, is that Mike McCarthy has always had a wide receiver ready to slide in once somebody's going to potentially depart, right? And so what we're looking at is Michael Gallup. I don't know if they want to pay him for next season, but this could be his last season. And if that's the case, don't be surprised if the Cowboys draft a wide receiver somewhere in this draft. Don't be surprised by it. And I have a good feeling that they're going to do that somewhere in this draft because you're going to keep Amari Cooper. This guy's a hell of a player still. Let's say Gallup leaves. You put CeeDee Lamb on the outside now, and you slide in a player like a Dwayne Eskridge who, kind of fits that mold of a slot receiver with high playmaking ability, which the NFL is all the rave about now with, players like a Tyreek Hill or, a Devontae Smith who's coming into the draft as well. Dwayne Eskridge, obviously, not that high of a profile, but Devontae Smith. But, man, this guy gives you a lot of pop, man, and very hard to tackle in the open field, Mike. So keep an eye on him. Jumped out right out the gates, making plays in this first Senior Bowl practice, Mike.
I see some Tavon Austin in this guy. I don't know why. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you see some Tavon Austin in this guy?
Better than Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin was grossly overdrafted, a complete utter bust. Dwayne Eskridge, a little bit more humbled player. I think this guy, is a more complete guy, in my opinion.
The pressure ain't on him because Tavon Austin was a first-round pick, top 10 overall. This guy's projected 6th, 7th round, maybe undrafted free agent, right? 5'9", 5'10" are his measurables, I think.
Yeah.
The last 40 I think they got on this guy right here was like a 4.39, super fast guy. Kick returner. I see some kick returner options. That's probably just what he's doing right now in this picture. Maybe Bones Fossil could do something with him.
Yes. Bones Fossil up in this B. Let's see what he does, man, because, they're looking for more help there in special teams. Do you want to keep CeeDee Lamb? Guys, let us know in the comments. Do you want to keep CeeDee Lamb returning punts? I don't. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to play a much bigger role for the Cowboys in year 2 and moving on, and I don't want him returning kicks anymore. They did that with Dez Bryant his rookie season. But as soon as they realized his playmaking ability and the need to have him on the field and not put him in harm's way, they took him off punt returns. I'm fine with that, and I think that's a smart thing to do. So, yeah, get us another playmaker, Mike, and I think this guy in the return game, would help, right out the game.
Yeah.
I like that one very much, guys. If we're looking at linebackers and this kind of thing, Mike covered Monty Rice, and a linebacker that I like in this Senior Bowl is going to be this guy right here. All right, get ready to get slapped across the face with this one, and we're talking about Jabril Cox, baby, out of LSU Tigers, man. This guy's got so much film out there. And a lot of it is from, North Dakota, right, where Carson Wentz came from. But he was a portal transfer over to LSU, and he picked up where he left off, a tackling machine, probably the highlight of that LSU 2020 team, unfortunately. But and the highlight of that defense, in my opinion, Jabril Cox, a really well-rounded linebacker. He's got good size to him. I think he's measuring in around 6'4", 6'3", somewhere in that range. But long arms and just a high IQ. All right. He's able to diagnose what these guys are doing. He doesn't fall for the eye candy, as we've been saying with the Cowboys this last season. And I think this is a guy that you're going to want to bring into the team and just bring him in and let him do his thing. Let him, seek and strike. I want him to be downhill, but, he can go cover if you need. But Jabril Cox, Senior Bowl, let's see what he does. Let's rock and roll. We are in the market for a linebacker. We need linebacker depth. What do we have in Leighton Van Esch? They have yet to give him the 5th-year option. Are they going to drag that out to the very last minute, to the 25th hour, to give him or not give him the 5th-year option? That's something to keep an eye on, guys. So with that being said, Mike, I'm looking at linebackers. I love the one that you covered, and I love this one here with Jabril Cox.
Yeah, Jabril Cox, he has impressive speed. He has impressive size. Reminds me of Anthony Barr, dare I say. I like it. And, I think if you use them right, you could probably use them as not only a linebacker, but you can also use them as like a Jalen Smith, Von Miller type rushing, getting to the quarterback. Because of that size, because of that speed, he could take offensive linemen on. No problem, Joe. I like your take there.
Yes, very good player there. Some other players of note, other linebackers, Mike, Patty Fisher out of Northwestern, KJ Britt. These are 2 other linebackers that you guys are going to want to take a look at in the Senior Bowl and in the practices. So keep an eye on those guys there, Patty Fisher and KJ Britt. Those are some other ones. Shaka Tony, he gives an honorable mention from me.
Cotton?
Yeah, out of Penn State, 6'2", 238. You can play anywhere from defensive end. I think you can flex him out as a linebacker. I think he gives you some flexibility. He's got long arms, so I think he gives you that flexibility, like I said. But Shaka Tony, I think he's an honorable mention for me. Alex Leatherwood from Alabama, Mike. I think this is a very interesting prospect. Now, the only thing about Alabama offensive linemen, to me, and some of this can be backed up just based on what the league has done, is, they tend not to do so well in the NFL. So you really got to do a deep dive when you're looking at some of these Bama players as far as like injury history and these types of things. But I do like what they've done the last 2 years coming into the league. So I think Alex Leatherwood will be a great prospect that you could, bounce inside. Now he's determined to play tackle, here at the Senior Bowl. He wants guys and scouts to look at him as a tackle. And I don't blame him. The tackle's where the money's at. But I want to see it. I want to see how he looks with this competition. I think he's somebody to take a look at. And if you keep Tyron here for another year, possibly, you could still have him on here as solid depth. And like I talked about with Law Neeson, Tyron Smith is not going to give you 17 games. He may not even give you 10 games. Will he give you 8 games? I think that is the trajectory of Tyron Smith. It's just the fact of it, right? So whoever you draft at offensive tackle, if you do draft an offensive lineman, they're going to get some playing time. I want to get better than Brandon Knight. I want to get better than Terrence Steele. So if we have the opportunity, take a look at a player like Alex Leatherwood, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of my standouts are, underdogs, I guess you could say, is Nico Collins, the wide receiver out of Michigan, and the defensive tackle, Levi out of Washington. I'm not even going to butcher that guy's last name. Put some respect on that last name, all right? Those are some of my 2 honorable mentions.
Yeah. Let's hit up Levi. Let's talk about him. He is at the Senior Bowl, like you said, Mike, and he's a great player. He's an opt-out, and he has the potential to make some money here. I think some of these players are making that money early on here on day one in practice. But it's all about, taking what they learn and do in the practice and, roll it into the actual game. You know what I mean? So there's always those players that look good in practice and they disappear when the lights come on. The Cowboys have had that, in training camp with some of our players. So, it's something that we all know, very well. So we'll see what Levi does here with the bright lights. He did opt out, like you said, but he's a solid player. 6'3", 290, came in at 32.5 measurables. He has huge hands, 10.3. So, he has all the physical traits. Defensive tackle. We need it. We need it.
He has the traits, but it took him a long time to develop into what he is to even be a draft prospect, to be even at the Senior Bowl playing this thing. And I again, almost like with Basham, the right defensive line coach needs to come in here and teach this guy. I don't know if I'm a big fan of our guy, teaching our defensive line at the moment. This guy needs a guy like Rod Marinelli, a Jim Tom Sula. Why are you saying Jim Tom Sula? Look what he did with Tristan Hill in the first 3 games before he got hurt. Look what he's doing with Randy Gregory, missing all that time in football. I think Jim Tom Sula knows how to motivate people. Rod Marinelli, we know what he got at George Selvey, Jeremy Mincy, and these guys. That's what that guy kind of needs, almost like what Tristan Hill needs.
No, absolutely. And so we're talking about our defensive line coach, right? A lot of people were like, who the hell is this guy? He's London, he's British. I don't know about this. Well, I was looking at an interview with our former safety, Barry Church, right? Yeah. And he gave flying colors of a recommendation. He said the players loved them. So I really liked that coming from Barry Church. Barry Church, if you follow him on DallasCowboys.com, he doesn't BS. I think he's one of the few that will give it to you straight. So when I heard that from Barry Church, that kind of, helped me say, okay, well, let's give this guy a shot. Let's not just be like, I don't know about this guy. You know what I mean?
I don't know about this guy. Resume speaks, man. Names don't.
Yeah. Resumes is what it is, and he has been around the league. And he does develop players, so we'll see what he does. But defensive line, I think we're definitely looking at defense in this thing. So, like I said, there's so many prospects in this one to cover. Mike, Tavis Banks, do appreciate you, bro. Out of BYU is a sleeper. Karius Tonga. Yeah, check him out. I haven't seen him. I can't speak on him, so take Tavis Banks' word for it. Go check him out of BYU. Let's see if he is a sleeper. Appreciate the donation, brother. Appreciate you, man. Why they keep Leon for what? Yeah, who knows, man, about Leon Lett. Does he feel slighted by this? I'm sure he wanted to take the job full on, but we'll see. I don't know if they're going to keep him on as an assistant defensive line coach. Hopefully they do. I think Leon Lett is underrated. He's been around here. I think he's done a good job developing some of these guys. But I think at the end of the day, it's what your defensive coordinator can bring out of these players. And, Mike Nolan just didn't really do it for me.
What?
He didn't really do it for me.
You know what I just found out the other day? Maurice Linguist is at Michigan. I did not know he left. I thought he was still part of the coaching staff. When did he leave?
Yeah, he left. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. He got the job. I think he's like assistant defensive coordinator or even assistant coach or something. He got a good job title. He couldn't turn it away from Harbaugh. So best of luck for him.
To me. I didn't know he left.
Best of luck. Excuse me. Best of luck, baby. Best of luck. Now, Mike, as far as the quarterback position, behind Dak Prescott, where do they go from here? Does Andy Dalton want to sign here? Do you want to keep Andy Dalton? How do you feel about the Cowboys quarterback depth, assuming, we do have Dak Prescott for 2021? How do you feel about the backups?
Who was that guy that came in when Dalton got hurt? What was his name? Not DiNucci either. What's his name? Oh,
Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert. I like Gilbert as a backup. I do. I like his ball. As a backup, I think he can win you a couple of games till your starting quarterback gets up. Now, the history shows, Joe, and I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but history shows, Joe, that if a quarterback of the team is franchised, they find work somewhere else and they don't get a long-term deal done with the franchise. That franchise tagged them. Drew Brees went to the Saints. We all know that story. Kirk Cousins with the Redskins to the Minnesota Vikings. We all know that story. Can Jerry Jones defy history and sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal? History is against Dak Prescott wearing a star. But history, again, is for Dak's pocket on another team that wants to pay that kind of money. If the Cowboys franchise tag him $38 million, that doesn't benefit the Dallas Cowboys, because then you're back to growing that money even more. How's these COVID vaccines going? Does the salary cap get a boost? Franchising Dak does not work for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe Dak Prescott does have the leverage, Joe. But Jerry and Steven, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, these guys need to sit down and talk about this, and they need to get a deal done now. It's going to stop Will McClay from building a draft board, because if Dak's not signed, we're going to wait. What if he holds out the entire year and says the hell with that money? You know what I mean? So they need to do something. Either we need to get reports like what we got from Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford Lions agree to part ways. Okay, it's not even February, and franchises are already making moves. The head coach wasn't even there for a whole week. Dan Campbell, former Cowboys tight end, wasn't there a week, and reports are already coming out what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. It's time for the Dallas Cowboys to stop playing games, sit down, have grown man talk, Joe, grown man talk, and either we're going to have them or we're not. But this franchise needs to quit playing, because they keep playing, Joe, we're going to be the new Browns of the NFL. Which way they do it, they need to do it now.
No, it's true, and like you said, the history is there. Drew Brees and the Cousins, all these guys. The history is against this thing happening. So we'll see what they do. I do feel that Jerry, at the end of the day, he'll pay up whatever the heck he's going to pay up. He's just going to. I just hate that we're dragging this thing out. I don't like that. But I think they're waiting for that official salary cap number.
That was talked about last week.
Yeah. But after that, if the salary cap number comes out and we're like another 3 or 4 weeks from knowing that number and we're still here, okay, then it is going to be time to start ramping up, quarterback talk. But as far as backups, whether we go with Gilbert, DiNucci he's a project. This guy to me is a practice squad project. And that sort of thing. But the Senior Bowl will have a couple players. You covered one last week who was Felipe Franks. He's going to be there. Yeah. He looked pretty good in practice today. So that's one. Another one that looked good, Mike, is going to be
6'6", baby. Oh, he's a tall ass quarterback, man.
Yeah.
Felipe Franks. Good Lord.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on him, Felipe Franks. But another one here, Sam Ehlinger out of Texas, dual threat quarterback. And he looked pretty good here today. Scouts liked what they saw out of Sam Ehlinger. I think he would be somebody that you might want to, kick the tires on. He's more of a late rounder for me, day 3 quarterback. So, but if the Cowboys do that, if they look for another quarterback here to try to develop, and I think they should, you have plenty of picks in this draft. So if you want to do that, Sam Ehlinger, bring him up with the quarterback whisper, Mike McCarthy. Let's not forget about that. Let's see what he does. And keep an eye on Sam Ehlinger. Pretty good, dual threat, like I said, has a lot of rushing touchdowns, similar to Dak Prescott. Obviously not as hefty, not as big as Dak, but he does have some of those credentials. So Mike, player subscriber down here, Fernando Escobar, Jamie Newman. Yeah, he's another one here that's going to be in the Senior Bowl 6'4", 220. Excuse me. Another one.
He had a lot of media coverage today too.
Yeah. This is going to be a hell of a Senior Bowl. Every snap is going to be critical, and everything will be dissected to the 10th degree. So A lot of quarterbacks in this one. You know, if you have that appetite to upgrade at the backup position, you know, there's going to be that opportunity. And Mike, you know, the Cowboys, you know, in past drafts, they do like to go through the Senior Bowl. We've drafted a lot of players that have participated in this game, going all the way back to DeMarcus Ware. So this is a game that's really huge for Cowboys and for Cowboys fans. You want to keep looking at these prospects that we're giving you guys. So make sure you guys check these guys out that we talked about and let us know what you guys think. You know, we do appreciate everybody that checked this out. You know, we'll definitely have a wrap-up video on this. Mike, do you have anything else before we cut out today?
No, big shout out to the Lunatic with them old school 1960 Dallas Cowboy helmets in the comment section. I like that. Oh, it doesn't come out. It doesn't come up. It just gives the quote there when you click on it.
Shout out to the Lunatic. Shout out to the Lunatic, long-time member, subscriber of the show. We do appreciate you, the Lunatic, for coming through always. And everybody in the comments, appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit like on this video before you head out. Stevie Mack has a comment here on backup quarter. Sign it. The mullet, Garner Minshew for backup. If he's still there in free agency, that would be a good one. I wouldn't mind that.
I think the mustache got carried away. Too much fame.
Mike, not a big fan?
No, not a big fan.
Not a big fan, but
Fitzpatrick 2.0.
Could be, and sometimes that's all you need. You just need someone to carry you through a couple of games. You know, we'll see what the Cowboys do. We'll see what they do, but we definitely need to bolster that offensive line. Otherwise, it's not going to matter who's out there. You know, we can't have these guys on the run left and right, including Dak. You know, how will his ankle hold up if he's going to be on the run? You know, so something to think about, guys. Offensive line, I think, is going to be in play here. I think
it's going to be in play. It's a freaking need.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Don't play. Draft O-line. That's the only thing you need to do on offense is draft an O-line. Especially if they cut Tyron Smith, I think it's $7.5 million cap saving, even if they trade him too. So if they want to save money or whatever, get rid of him. Protect. I don't care if it's in the first round. You want to get offensive line in the first round, I'm cool with that. We dipped our alliance on the only offensive player we're getting. Now let's go heavy defense. There's a lot of defensive players that could transform this defense. Get some dogs, man. Don't get no pretty boy pedicure, medicure dude in here. Give me a dog that breaks a nail and rips it off. And it's bleeding, and he still goes out there and plays. Give me that type of player. Quit giving me divas.
Yes. Get us some Ronnie Lott, somebody who's gonna like amputate his pinky and go back in the game. We need these kinds of players. Like we don't have them right now. We definitely don't. But they got to stop with the Boy Scouts. You know what I mean? But they got to be smart about it. They got to be smart. They got to be smart
about it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because Cowboys got a bad rap. Des Bryant. The mom altercation, the Greg Hardy thing, the whole Cowboys signs criminals things. Now Andy Reid's getting, that gig. The Chiefs are now getting the quote unquote criminals of the world. But be smart, like Joe said. Cowboys, give us some Dak news. I'm gonna give you a week. If I don't hear nothing about Dak, I'm gonna blow up. Is he staying or is he go?
Is he staying? It sounds like a song. I think that is a song.
Could he stay or should he go? Don't get demonetized, you two. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's where we're at, guys. We do appreciate you guys for checking out our Senior Bowl recap of who looked good here in day one of practice. And a couple of prospects to check out. Like I said, we'll come back here next week and do a wrap-up of the Senior Bowl, who really stood out in the game and who to keep an eye on. And finally, we'll get to go deeper into the mock drafts, because that's really what the Senior Bowl to me marks. You get more data, you get more footage. It's the last major bowl game before we get to the pro days. So this is huge, and you'll see more names like we said. All these guys that we cover, guys, you will see a lot more of these names probably associated with the Cowboys. Richie Grant, Sage Surratt, Monty Rice, Marvin Wilson. Aaron Robinson possibly.
Marvin Wilson. Give me Marvin Wilson all day.
Yeah, a lot of these guys really fit into what the Cowboys do. So keep an eye on all these guys. Make sure you guys hit like on this video on your way out, man. We do appreciate you. We do appreciate you guys. So that's all we have today. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already.
Yep, right here. Joe has it right there, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. Give me a follow. I follow back as anybody that follows me. But I don't trade for trade on YouTube. If you subscribe, Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube. If you have great content, I watch a lot of guys, actually. I watched, Law Nation when he was starting. I think I was his 10th subscriber. I think I was your 75th subscriber. My Cowboys family when they had 20. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching a lot of guys. If I watch you, I'll shout you out. I'll share your page like Cowboys Fan Talk. Ask him about it. He'll tell you what I do there. But no, if you make content, let me know, and I'll definitely check you out. Subscribe. Cowboy Nation, we're in this together. If I hear you associate with any Philadelphia fan, any nasty Giant fan, or the anonymous team over there in Washington, then I got to unsubscribe. Straight Cowboy football right here, baby. Let's go.
That's what it is, everybody. It's all about Cowboys here 24/7, 365 days out of the week, baby.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that Frisco report. Grab you one, guys.
TheFriscoReport.com.
Yeah, guys. And also remember, guys, we are on Spotify and iTunes and this kind. If you want to catch the audio version of this, hit up that, subscribe to that, and check that out, guys. But that's all we have tonight, guys. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace, everybody.